least, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a person in power, position and authority. Please welcome back on stage Honorable Minister Shri KTR.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you all can hear us clearly. So what we're going to do in the next 30 minutes is to really have a free-flowing chat, coffee with Karan in the space of business precisely. And undoubtedly the Karan of the evening is sitting on my left. So Mr. Ram, thank you for being here. It's a privilege to have you in Singapore. I gather you came in early this morning. As you spent about 12 hours in the city, how do you kind of reflect on what you see in Singapore, and how does that kind of connect back to your dreams about building an even more powerful Hyderabad and Telangana?
Well, firstly, thanks for comparing me to Karan Johar. That is a compliment. Thank you. Somebody's clapping, please. Thanks, Lakshmi. My take on this whole idea of smart cities, innovation, technologies. In fact, ever since I walked in this morning, as you said, I had a series of meetings with some of the government organizations. So we started off with the Economic Development Board. Then we went on to hugely popular Sirbana Jerome, who is known as the master consultant for a lot of cities, a lot of projects. Then we went on to A-Star, and then seriously. The one underlying theme that I could basically understand was each of these organizations, irrespective of when they were formed, irrespective of when they were created, they are trying to use technology basically to disrupt, to break the legacy processes, make it that much more quicker, expedite solutions, and we live in a world of instant gratification. So therefore, they are trying solutions which really do deliver instant results. And most of them, in fact, you ask me, can be imbibed, can be also adopted by India. What Singapore and the United States and the developed world has done in, say, 50 years, I think with the kind of technology that's at our disposal, we can really leapfrog and possibly get the same results in the next 15 years. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. We're on the anvil, we're on the cusp of breaking into the big league. And while I won't say, Hyderabad is going to be a Singapore in the next 15 years, I would definitely say there's a lot of smart technologies that are being deployed here. They can be definitely adopted, and we can make our place, we can make our cities much more smart.
Amazing. So actually, I've learned a lot and read a lot about Hyderabad and the T-Hub concept. I'm not sure if a lot of people in this room really have a complete sense of the whole thing. Would you kind of tell us what the concept is, and of course, what's the mantra of success?
Well, of course, the theme, the underlying theme of our industrial policy, for ICT policy has been innovate, incubate, incorporate. Our Chief Minister is of the firm belief that research is the bedrock of innovation, and innovation definitely is the pillar on which entrepreneurship thrives. Therefore, he came up with this idea, and today's world, if you think about it, I think all of us sitting in the room are addicted to one form of social media or the other. In fact, I think just a couple of years ago, when we had WhatsApp being bought by Facebook, everybody or anybody, just me for that matter, who saw the valuation, $19 billion. I was confused. But a lot of Indian youngsters too were not content in wanting their country to be known as the back office of the world. They're enthused, they're kicked. They believe that today the next big breakthrough can come from anywhere. Technology is such a great level, it creates a flat world, and it really gives an opportunity to Indian youngsters, any youngster for that matter, from anywhere in the world, an opportunity to pursue their dreams. That's exactly what we've done with T-Hub. T-Hub is the country's largest technology incubator. What we've basically done is played the role of a facilitator. Today, anybody in India, any Indian youngster who has an idea, can walk into T-Hub with an idea and walk out with a product. We handhold them completely in terms of setting up incorporation of a company, in terms of the administrative effort, in terms of building a business plan, in terms of mentorship technology-wise, in terms of basically curating them, in terms of basically taking them to the next stage, making them an early stage company, giving them access to VCs, the entire gamut through the value of debt all the way to right to the hockey stick curve. We ensure that they go through it, and obviously the good ones survive. The Darwin's theory of survival of the fittest takes care of it. But the one thing I'd like to emphasize, I think any good idea today, irrespective of where it comes from, is only as good as its valuation. Therefore, what we've also decided to do is, just as how WhatsApp is valued, or LinkedIn recently was valued at billions and billions of dollars, $26 billion, what we've decided is that Indian youngsters also need an exposure to the West, more so the Silicon Valley. Therefore, this year, in fact, this year, October, most likely, we are launching an outpost of T-Hub in Silicon Valley, and I hope, in fact, the anchor MC was saying, next unicorn could be Sridhar's company. I'm hoping that one of the Hyderabad companies makes it big, and it turns out to be a unicorn, and I'm just hoping the next big breakthrough would come from India.
That's a great dream. Actually, I think it really deserves a big round of applause. That's amazing. Sridhar, you just mentioned about kind of what you're doing. How would you kind of see all of these kind of coming together from an entrepreneur's point of view?
Sure. I moved to India 5 years back, and last 2 years under Minister Garu's leadership, two things I have seen in terms of the transformation. One, major technology companies moving back to Hyderabad. The top 5 companies has presence in India, including Uber, Google, Microsoft, and several companies are setting up. Not only typical outsourcing, the companies are looking at setting up R&D centers, which is amazing. The second major change in last 2 years is bringing innovation ecosystem, because the future direction of the technologies and innovation, apart from the typical outsourcing, that's where the industry is heading. And last 2 years, though T-Hub is less than 2 years old, the kind of attention, the kind of branding it has created is amazing. It's not a typical incubation center. In fact, we are setting up our innovation center there. So what they have done is they have connected technology companies like Cisco, HP, several banks. So they are the companies who can't innovate within, because they are big organizations, a lot of bureaucracy, takes time to take decisions. So connecting them with the technology startups, this is what is going to make the success stories, and this is what is going to make out of, if you look at out of 100 startups, because lack of knowledge and experience, lack of go-to-market strategy, the chances of success is only 5%. Because this connecting this whole ecosystem, the chances of success will be much, much higher. That's all. I think it's an amazing job done.
Just to add to what Sridhar has said, in fact, out of the top 5 most valued tech companies in the world today, 4 of them in the last couple of years have chosen Hyderabad as their base outside of their headquarters. That would include your company Google, and Facebook obviously has been around for a bit. Now newly Amazon, and more recently Apple. All of them have chosen, in fact, and again reiterate what Sridhar has said. Today the world doesn't look at India as a back office anymore. The world looks at India as a center where a lot of research and development can happen, a lot of innovation can happen, a lot of disruption can happen. Disruption earlier was a negative word with a lot of negative connotation, not so anymore. When people talk about disruption today, people sit up and take notice, especially if it's coming from India these days. A lot of attention is being paid, and I'm glad that it's shaping up really well.
That's amazing. Actually, I had the opportunity to be in Israel about 8 weeks back, and we were sitting down and talking to a whole bunch of government people and entrepreneurs, and we came across this concept of a network effect. And can you kind of illuminate all of us around how do you see the network of things coming together in Hyderabad as a city?
Well, what's important really is obviously the network and the ecosystem, because eventually, if you think about it, we have as a country done exceptionally well in terms of setting up our academic institutions, research institutions. With the kind of limited means we have, we've done reasonably well. If you look at all the Indian Americans who are doing exceptionally well, I mean, not just Indian Americans, but also Indians across the world, including yourself, right here, have done exceptionally well because of the academic background that we've all received. So therefore, to build on that story, to ensure that it transcends into the next level of innovation and disruption, I think what we have to do is basically ensure that the research that happens in our research institutions is applied research, is commercialized, and is made that much more useful. So therefore, research just cannot be about publishing papers, and research can just cannot be about research per se. So it has to be about applied research. And that's exactly where this ecosystem matters, because once people start talking to each other, once academic institutions start talking to the industry players, once they start understanding what the industry is seeking, that's when I think the real breakthroughs can come in. That's exactly what we're trying to create in Hyderabad. Today in T-Hub, we have the Indian School of Business as a partner, who will be doing the business mentorship. IIIT Hyderabad and IIT Hyderabad are partners who will be the tech mentors. And also NALSA, because intellectual property is extremely important. NALSA in fact is also our IP and legal advisor. So therefore, to create such a network and then also ensure that mentorship actually comes in by way of people like Satya Nadella, Vishal Sikka, Ratan Tata, all of these gentlemen, whoever has come into Hyderabad has actually come into T-Hub and had a good piece of advice, and it basically inspires the youngsters to achieve that much more. And therefore, I think ecosystem supplemented by a good dose of mentorship is I think the key to success.
Terrific. And I'm just going to go back to entrepreneurs and innovators. Do you see a stream of bright ideas coming into all of this infrastructure that you are beginning to provide?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I'll tell you one quick story. What is so exciting about this whole entrepreneurship thing is, it really is rejuvenating for even somebody who's in the middle kind of age bracket. The other day, not the other day, in fact, 6 months ago, I received an email on my official account from an 11th grade kid, a kid in 11th grade. He writes to me saying, "Dear Minister, I would like to come meet you. I have an idea. I would like to do a startup and I want to pitch it to you." I was just intrigued. More than anything else, I just want to meet the kid. So I called him. He comes in with his friend, with his classmate. Both of them are in their school uniforms. They come in and they're telling me about the next big social networking platform and how it's going to revolutionize India. They say, Facebook is for the rest of the world. What we are building is for Indians. And with that dose of nationalism, I think we'll succeed. More than anything else, that exuberance, that kind of, enthusiasm levels, that really had, I had a fully contended, because the point is, when youngsters in their school, high school, are enthused, when youngsters in their elementary education are thinking about entrepreneurship, I think India will really have good days ahead. And today's South India business achievers, I'm sure, will be shining examples also to all those youngsters, all those wannabe entrepreneurs. And I think the country is on the right course.
In fact, I would like to touch upon your leadership style. I have two examples. I came to your office along with one of the Fortune 100 company. So after the meeting, one of the government official sent a minutes of meeting. These are the things we discussed, these are the next level action items. The same thing with T-Hub. Everything is discussed, noted, documented and sent out. So you as a leader can do great things, but how can you transform the whole organization who has the whole bureaucracy for years and years in terms of getting the next level leadership? Follow your
That's the big challenge. Today, we have a Prime Minister who says, "Start up India, stand up India." We have a Chief Minister in Telangana who's very progressive when it comes to promoting entrepreneurship. The top-down approach can only work, can only take you so far. You're absolutely right. But I think what has to happen is the sense of government working like a private entity. The sense of government, even though it's a huge organization with millions and millions of employees from central government to state government. I think we have to invite, and I think it's only going to come with time. It's not going to be an overnight effort. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. What has worked in our case, in the case of T-Hub, TASK, whatever we've done so far, we've basically created spin-offs. What we've done is, we said, you're not a government entity anymore. You're not even a quasi-government entity. You are an autonomous entity. And government should not involve or should not poke its nose where it does not belong. In fact, I'm a firm believer of this theory, that governance should be felt. Governance should not be seen or heard. Governance is not about having a cop every 100 meters. Governance is not about that. In fact, when I lived in the United States, I lived there for 8 years. I only had to go to a government office once. That too to get my driver's license. I think that's what governance is about. Governance is about creating the basic infrastructure, ensuring the safety of citizens, ensuring that you give them basic amenities, and if they need to reach you, give them a smart mechanism to reach you and respond to it quickly. I think that's all government is about. Government should not be out of bounds. Government should not, start getting into intrusive into people's lives and really start doing things which it is not supposed to do. Yes.
Amazing. I'm going to touch upon, we are here on a week of celebrating South Indian entertainment. How much of the entertainment industry do you consume? And what are your thoughts about the industry?
Well, I think it's a terrific industry. In fact, if you ask me, it's one of the most underrated industries today in the country because the kind of contributions they've made. Today, the Telugu film industry, if I have to take it as an example, I think has made significant contribution to the entire country in terms of creativity. So many achievers, in fact, from the south, in fact, from Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam and Kannada industries have been ignored for a long time. But I appreciate Vishnu and his entire team, Thirumal and his entire team, for actually coming out with SIBA, to recognize the talent. Because I think it took a Bahubali, really. It took a Bahubali to finally break the ceiling or whatever it's called, cut across the regional barriers to ensure that good cinema is appreciated no matter where it is from. In fact, I've got to tell you one more thing. Today's Telugu is the second most prolific industry after Hindi. And in fact, Telugu film industry today has really transcended, like I said, cutting across regional barriers. And today, in fact, Telugu industry also, and the film industry at large, requires the support of the government. In fact, recently I'm very, very happy to share with you, we've launched the country's first Telugu, basically intellectual property crime protection unit. Piracy is a huge issue, which really plagues and which really affects the movie industry. So what we've done is we've launched the country's first effort, and we're very hopeful that the movies which are made with so much passion and which are a labor of love, if you ask me, them getting pirated and really getting leaked even before the release is something that should be curbed. The government should do everything in their capacity. We've started it. I hope the rest of the governments and the country will follow, and that will definitely bring more and more glory to the industry.
Amazing. And do you see entrepreneurial ideas coming from the industry to the T-Hub? Do you feel the entertainment industry is trying to innovate enough?
Well, absolutely. In fact, if you ask me, what Bahubali, or for that matter, several other films recently have done is, they've shown the world that there is this, the scale obviously, and also the kind of visual effects, the kind of animation, the kind of multimedia effects that they've leveraged. I think it goes to show you that creativity now has no bounds. And in fact, one of the upcoming things, in fact, we are launching the country's largest innovation center in animation, gaming, multimedia and entertainment in Hyderabad. It will be a 5 lakh square foot facility where you will have state-of-the-art facilities. In fact, I had a meeting with Jeff Katzenberg of DreamWorks recently. I have also invited them to participate in the process. I'm also in touch with Disney and Pixar and others to also come and participate. We are looking at also a lot of Indian players to actually set shop in Hyderabad and be a part of the immense city. So I think once you unleash the power of visual effects, once you unleash the power of multimedia effects, I think creativity really has no bounds. I think Rajmouli has leveraged it. If you think about the movie he made, Monkey in Hindi or Iga in Telugu, I think that really goes to show you there wasn't any star power to it. It was just pure magic. It was pure, a movie-goer's delight, if you ask me. I think that's what is needed, and that's, I think, what the industry is also dabbling with.
I'll touch upon your leadership style again. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs and executives here. So you, as an example, could transform. As a politician, could change people's, several people's lives. So what is your advice? What kind of hope we can have? What's your leadership style which help you to transform from executive to a politician and successful politician and transforming the city?
Being a successful politician is not that difficult in India because the expectation is really low, so it's easy. A lot of people have, a lot of my friends who are from the non-political background will tell you what they really think of politicians when they're not on camera, so I know what they think. And so the expectation is not so much, firstly. But going back to your question more seriously, I think you have to decentralize. You cannot be centralized in power. You cannot be centralized in responsibilities. You have to decentralize. You have to delegate, and you have to empower people. You have to trust people and empower. You pick the right kind of team. Decentralize, give them, the authority to run. Let them run, let them be empowered to take decisions so that things move fast. For every small thing, the minister need not be sounded off. You have secretaries, you have commissioners, you have officers at various levels. as long as you trust them, empower them, decentralize them, I think things will happen that much more quickly, and this whole idea of things not moving so quickly in government will disappear.
Terrific. We actually have about 5 more minutes. We want to throw it open to the audience if you have any questions to the panel and more specifically to Mr. Rao. And then are there any mics that are out there? I request you all just stand up and say who you all are and your company that you represent. Shoot any questions.
Okay, no questions. Thank you.
Well, yes, if you do have a question, kindly raise your hand. Please state your name and also whom the question is directed to.
Okay, there they are.
Hi, I am Subra. I represent the Pan-IIM community in Singapore. And it was very enriching to hear this discussion, especially about all the simplification of processes and all that which is happening. Question is, how is the bad word corruption being dealt with? Because whether we look at it from whichever angle, it indeed has to be gotten rid of. So I'd really be interested to hear, how are we dealing with it?
Subra, thank you firstly, because Pan-IIM was instrumental in organizing our Honorable Chief Minister's first ever overseas visit after he assumed office. So thank you very much for that firstly. Secondly, just as an example, in fact tying in back into our Chief Minister's visit, when our Honorable Chief Minister wanted to formulate a new industrial policy, he said there are domain experts. There are people who know, we don't have to reinvent the wheel, people have done it already. So let me go to Singapore because everybody says on scale of ease of doing business, Singapore is the best in the world. So let's me go to Singapore, study it. Long-winded answer, but I'm coming to your question. The point I'm trying to make is, once our Chief Minister understood that when you take away the individual discretion element from the process, then processes are streamlined and corruption goes away. The way we've done it in our industrial policy is, once our Chief Minister has studied the industrial policy of Singapore, he came back and he started and he has developed a policy about which I'll only share 3 things. One, today Telangana's industrial policy allows for self-certification. So you as an entrepreneur wants to start an enterprise in Telangana, you can come hit the ground running. You don't need a clearance from the government. You don't need to talk to Arvind Kumar, you don't need to talk to the minister, you don't need to talk to anybody. As long as you believe that you are in compliance with the law of the land, you can hit the ground running. 1. 2, you have, for regulatory purposes, obviously, you'll have to put in an application online. And then, that's where the interesting thing comes in. You take away the individual element of discretion. We promise all clearances in 15 days. So you might ask me, I've heard this before. People tell me single windows, 15 days, time-bound clearances. What is different? Where we are different is, if we don't deliver in 15 days, you don't have to meet anybody. On the 16th day, it's a deemed approval. On the 16th day, if you don't hear back from us, it's a deemed approval by the board. So once you take away the element of discretion from an individual and make it more process-driven, the element of corruption also goes out of the window. The other 2 things we also do. In fact, as a government, if we don't deliver on the promise of 15 days, what can you do in other states? I don't know about other states, but in Telangana, you actually can do something. By statute, by a piece of legislation that we passed, in fact, if we don't deliver on the promise of 15 days, we are liable for penal action. You can take us to a court of law and sue us, and we give you that stick to beat us with. The third thing we also do, the secretaries in the government, the officers in the government, who are responsible for the delay, time-bound clearance does not happen, they will be levied a fine of rupees 1,000 per day as a penalty to ensure that accountability is actually taken seriously. So once you have that kind of processes in place, once you take away individuals and build institutions, once you take away individual discretion and build processes, that's when graft will go away. Otherwise, behavioral changes will only happen over a period of time. But I think we have to be a more process-driven, government process-driven machinery. And then I think the day that you dream of, or the days that we all dream of, will definitely be around.
Thank you for your question, sir.
We are done.
I think we do have time for one more question. Do we have any more questions? Yes, we have one last question, right? They're very, very close to the bar.
Is the bar open?
Not yet, sir. Hence the sadness in the audience, I reckon.
I will join you.
Is that water, sir?
Just very quick. Smart city is something which is getting a lot of hype, and there are a lot of ideas and actions which are happening towards smart city. Being from infrastructure, being from population, being traffic, being administrative, any number of things which are there. So, have you done any analysis or maybe any ideas about what would be the first few things that should be captured and resolved, and from there we can identify the things for opportunities?
What's your name, sir?
Sumit.
Sumit, there's no Krishna here, but I'm Ram. I can take your question.
Apologies.
No, I'm kidding. One quick thing. Sumit, Smart City. Great title. If you ask me, great name, great nomenclature. But what is a smart city? Can somebody define it for me? I've asked the union secretary, I've asked the union government, I've asked the union minister. The union minister said it's a livable city. Somebody else said, leverage smart technologies. So everybody seems to have a definition for a smart city. In my opinion, I think India should not merely aid anybody. Like you said, each and every Indian city has a lot of issues with respect to infrastructure, with respect to managing our resources. In fact, I'll just give you a quick example of how the smart city fad is catching on. About 6 months ago, I was in my office, and there is this huge multinational, based in America. They sought my appointment. They came in, and they were pitching smart city solutions. They said, "Sir, we can get you an alert. Right? We can get you a command control center, an alert when somebody cuts, in traffic, their lane abruptly and blocks your way." I said, "Great, sounds good. Why don't you actually give me an alert when somebody is heading at me in a one-way street?" They said, "Why would you need that?" I said, "Welcome to India." The point I'm trying to make is, what could be a great solution for Singapore? What could be a great smart solution for Barcelona? Or what could be a fantastic solution for Los Angeles? Need not work in Hyderabad or Kanpur or Meerut or Ranchi. I think India needs to have its own solutions. We need to have our own recipes because our problems are different. For example, as the Minister for Municipal Administration, I know for a fact, I'm in charge of the water supply department in Hyderabad, and I'm not proud of the way they're working. In fact, just the other day when I was reviewing our water supply department, they said their burn rate per month is 120 crores, and the revenue is only 90 crores. So there is that deficit of 30 crores per month. I was amazed. I said, you guys are actually selling water. You charge people for water. Why would you not be? Why would you not be profitable? At least self-sufficient. So they tell me, with a bit sheepishly, they say, "Sir, our NRW is 40%. NRW is non-revenue water. Non-revenue water includes illegal connections. Non-revenue water includes pilferages. Non-revenue water includes leakages. Non-revenue water includes transmission losses." Now, no smart city solution based in Barcelona or Los Angeles can give me a solution to that. I have to find my own formula. I have to find my own recipe. So therefore, I've asked engineering college, IIIT Hyderabad. I've asked their kids, their students, actually to conduct a hackathon, to come out with a solution and give me possibly a technology solution which can at least alert me when there is a leakage, when there is an illegal tapping, etc., etc. So the point I'm trying to make is long-winded answer. But I think India needs to find its own solutions and not merely copy what Singapore has done or what Hong Kong has done or what New York has done. I think we have to give our fair share of chances to our own youngsters, to our own companies like Paradigm, and to our own Indian homegrown entrepreneurs an opportunity to actually ensure that they give us the solution.
Well, thank you very, very much for those questions. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking those questions, taking that beautiful panel forward. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for Honorable Minister Shri K.T.R. Mr. Ajay